Jeff, Zay was just telling us he talked to the team today. How are these kind of goodbyes going for everybody?
Well, I didn't mind game them, but I did mind game them. Usually during senior week, I let the seniors talk, but we had some work to do. So I told them, like, if you get to a bowl, and when you get to a bowl, I'm gonna let y'all have all the practices to talk. And because usually, when you do that during senior week, you're knocking in 3 or 5 seniors a day, and it gets a little bit long, to be honest with you. And I'm letting these guys get in front of the team meeting. I'm proud of them. I mean, for where we were and where we've come to, we're playing the best ball we have all year, the last 6 weeks of the season, which historically is our case here. I need you guys to help me coach more in September and October, obviously. But I'm really proud of how they hung together. And I've just been kind of letting them have their day. One, they have always talked on our culture to their groups or their unit. Unit meaning the defensive, all of them, or the group meaning their position groups, but they don't ever get to talk in front of the whole team. And it's always enjoy watching when they get up here in front of all 150 of us, how they get big-eyed, like the room's so big. But they've all done fantastic. Just kind of talked about their stories, and it's been really good to hear it.
What are the emotions like with Jamal Ligon in particular after how long he's been here and been a fixture for your team?
Yeah, those are real deals with me, and you know how I am. I'm a big softy, and if there's anything that I could probably be criticized, and I have a feeling that was kind of some of you and JJ's shots y'all were taking at me back when we weren't playing very good. If I'm ever going to consider changing my ways, is maybe I care for the kids too much, possibly, if that's a real thing, and so it'll be an emotional deal. I'm grateful, like I really am, to watch Brandon Brown, just to watch those guys conduct their business, man. They go about their stuff the right way. Obviously, Jamal did a great job when he spoke as well. And it'll be tough for us because, anytime you do anything, no different than you working at the newspaper and you working for the TV station, when you leave it, you want it to be better than when you got there. And that's what all of us aspire, right? Jamal Ligon and those guys, they're leaving this place way better than it was when they got here. I want you to think about where it was when we recruited those kids here to where we are right now. And really excited, like last night watching Sincere and just, all those guys right now. And I hate it for his injury, but all those guys left this place way better than when they found it.
For this bowl opportunity in particular, they had to push through some tough times this season to get to that stage. Does that make it any more meaningful for the group?
It does. It does. I have done this long enough. I tried to remind all of you while we were going on those historic runs, how historic that was and how hard that was and how much we need to enjoy it. We're not much different than those teams. You're a few plays away from having the same records every year we've been here together. And I know nobody wants to hear that now because I was losing some of those games. Back when we were winning all those one-possession games, it was a blast. So we've never taken that for granted, but we've also never had that low of a season until we turn that thing around.
Coach, you mentioned Sincere. What sense of pride does it give you to see him go through all of the stuff he's gone through and now become the lead back of an NFL team?
Yeah, there's just such a backstory there of Sincere and I. People were putting such bull in his head when he was coming out. And I remember very vividly a conversation him and I had. And he'll tell you to this day, I was the only one that told him the truth. And I won't give up all the information, but I did say, you're going to get an account. And you're probably going to make a practice squad. And when that happens, you're going to get your chance to get on the field because those running backs, they get injured. And when you do, you're going to be so good, they're not going to be able to take you off the field. And I still feel that way about the kid. I think he's that good of a back. He's just like they said about Rashad. He's too short, he's too slow, he's too this. Well, he's too good of a football player is what he is.
Given that you guys have gone to a bowl game a few years in a row, does it get easier to manage kind of the unusual schedule and some of the things that come along with that? Is this group more comfortable in this kind of an environment?
Yeah, we've done it a lot. So we just know kind of some things that each year we tinker with it a little bit differently to make sure we play better. Obviously, when you get off to a 14-0 deficit in the first quarter, we're going to do everything in our power to start quicker this time around. We're anticipating weather, the cold weather and the wind. We've been kind of lucky. We've had some wind and some rain, so we've had to work through some conditions here. But just like Texas today, we we had to handle the heat.
Is there anything in particular you've changed about the routine or the approach this cycle going through a bowl prep?
Yeah, there's some stuff we've changed. There are just some things, some ideas we've come up with to make sure we're a little bit more ready when the game starts.
With what happened on the road this season, is that aspect, Coach, that this is essentially a home game? I guess it is a home game for Coastal. Is that an important idea to them to get that first road win?
Yeah, I agree. I tell that to my team. Like, everybody's talking about how unfair it is that we got to play on the road for our reward for making a bowl, and I think it's just an opportunity for us to kind of put that to bed. You know that we can only win at home. It's kind of this, and it's factual this year, but we get a chance to stop all that. So it's a great point, Benny.
When you guys, when you think about this group in particular, this is really like the last of the original Jeff Traylor group with Oscar and Jamal and all that stuff. How do you look at this last game and this last opportunity to coach these guys?
Kind of a way to make amends for a season where we felt like we did not achieve what we were capable of. Just to be very honest with you, we left some meat on the bone in our opinion. Obviously the injuries had a huge factor in all that, but it's really allowed us to get some guys out there that wouldn't have been, that are playing really good ball right now. Now, if I can just hold on to all of them, talk them all into coming back, and me and Bob and Martin and April can raise enough money, and then when the revenue share kicks in July, if UTSA takes care of me and we can take care of them, we're going to all just be fine. But that's not what we had visualized, right? We had visualized that being Mekhi Hart and JT Clark and those kids, Big Joe Evans and Oscar Cardenas, the guys you're mentioning right now, Ken Robinson. And I hate it for those kids. I am grateful they're all going on the trip. I've told Oscar he's walking around looking so good, I think if he was tough, he'd give me 10 snaps. He laughed. He probably would if he could.
We were talking to CJ James on Sunday. He's kind of a different case where it took a long time in his career to get to his first bowl opportunity. What do you see that this moment means to him?
Yeah, he's sharp. He was a great addition for us. That was a really great take for us. We kind of visualized him, maybe playing tackle and Luke being the center. But obviously when we lost Luke, CJ had to get back in there, and CJ really did a great job for us. He's been good. It took a while for him to learn the system, and we still have some hiccups. We've had more balls bounce off our quarterback, for whatever reason. CJ's pretty quick to want to snap that thing down there. But he is very bright. I think he's got a chance to play at the next level, just because he's played a lot of football, and he's a really good athlete. If you watch him move around, he's got great feet. He's a really good athlete.
We've been asking the guys if we're going to see them on the beach in South Carolina this weekend. You're a big beach guy?
Well, they keep telling me they got all these clothes they're packing in these suitcases. I said, all you need is a G-string and some suntan oil, man. What are we doing? What are we doing with all these clothes? We're going to the beach. They said, Coach, if you check the temperature out, this beach is a little colder than the ones we used to go into. So we're excited. I'm a beach guy because Care Bear's a beach girl, and so she always drags me to the beach. And I'm under the big shade tree with a book and a glass of sweet tea, and she's out there in her bikini with all that oil on her body, acting crazy.
You gonna bring a visor to tan the top of your head?
I just wear this old ball cap, just cover it up. Now I do take it off because I don't want my head to look like Coach Turner. Like when Coach Turner takes his cap off, it looks like he still has his cap on because it's so white. You know what I mean? It's brown all around here. So I will take it off occasionally just to tan it on the top a little bit.
Coach, one off-topic question. With the transfer portal going right now, we saw that what happened with Penn State and their freshman quarterback transfer out mid-bowl game season while they're preparing to go to the playoffs. Do you think that something should be done about this transfer portal window, maybe moving it later, maybe bringing in a commissioner for college football to try and curb some of that?
Well, let's think about what it's doing to kids. Understand, this is not the kids' fault. This is the adults' fault. This is leadership. This is a great example when there's a vacuum of leadership, right? And we don't have leadership. Now, I'm not talking about our current president. I mean, obviously, President Baker got handed a rough job when he got handed this thing, and we're trying to figure all this thing out. But let's just talk about like real life situations that are going on. Like currently, guys on our team that have handled it correctly, who have walked in my office, they want to play. We recruited them here, they've been beaten out, and they want to go start somewhere, which they can and have the right to. I mean, there are other schools literally telling them right now, if they don't come on their visit, right now, they're not going to take them. So now they're having to decide whether they're going to play in the bowl game for a team they're not going to play for next year, or desert their teammates who are counting on them in the bowl game to go take care of their future. And we're the ones that have done that to the kids. So just that in itself is not right. And I hate it. That kid at Penn State, I can promise you, it probably killed him to not go be the backup for them in that game. And somebody's got to do something. And the problem is what you have is you have a conflict of scheduling here. You've got an academic calendar, but we're not setting the football schedule by the academic calendar. So these kids have got to get in school by January. So that's why the portal is when it is, so those kids can get in and get out and get to their next school, because that's set on the academic calendar. The problem is the rest of us are playing on a bowl schedule and a playoff calendar. So both calendars obviously cannot exist unless we either got to change the football calendar to match the academic calendar, or we had to change the academic calendar to match the football calendar. This is not that complicated.
I got one more. Thank you for that. Larry Hill gets one more shot at the title here this weekend, and you'll already be on the road. But as a guy who's done it many times over, how cool would it be for you to see him finally cross that finish line and get a state championship on his resume? I'm
such a huge fan of Larry and have so much respect for him, and I have forever. And since we've come here, we've gotten to be much, much closer. I mean, everybody gets credit for me taking Trey Moore. Larry Hill's the one that made me take Trey Moore. So when Larry Hill tells me something, I listen. The guy knows ball, he knows talent, and everybody in San Antonio is rooting for Larry to get him one. And we stay in contact always. And I hate it. I was going to get to be there because it's dead right now. So we're with the coaches who are not supposed to be there. But because I got inducted into the Texas Hall of Fame, I was going to get introduced during the halftime, so I got an amendment or whatever, some permission, and now our bowl game is, and I can't go, so I hate it because I really wanted to be there to see Larry get his first one.
Can they beat Highland Park?
You know, Randy Allen's been doing this forever. I literally text Randy as well, who I'm very close with too, and I said, you cease to amaze me. I mean, Randy has been doing this forever, and he's got them back there again. So two of the real heroes in our profession are going on. What an epic battle. And it's a shame someone's going to have to lose that game, because that's two of the greatest ones to have ever done it.
You're obviously a Texas high school football coach through and through. Do you have a message for any of for all of the teams that are battling for state titles this year?
I stay in touch with all of them, and I send them all kind of the same message. Literally the best memories of my life. When you're dealing with high school kids, it's just different because you've just had them since they were little. And especially if you're at a Gilmer, or you're at a Carthage or a Highland Park or a Smithson Valley, some of those guys that are there right now, and those coaches have been there forever. They've literally had those kids since they were in kindergarten. So it's the best times of their life. Some of the best memories in my life were made in that place and at this time of year.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Coach.
Charles.